large blocks of text, they scare off readers, okay? That uninterrupted, okay? In our world, maybe it was different 100 years ago. Use questions or discussion technique, yes. That first sentence that I talked about, write a compelling lead paragraph, often a question is a great way to start, okay? Or trying to answer a question or dealing with some issue, okay? How do I measure success? Okay. Number of posts. So, how many of you put out, okay? That's one way to look at it. Number of visitors. That's another way to look at it. Number of followers, okay? Because like I said, there's how many are on there, how many views do I get in a day, how many, and by the way, this is broken down by day, week, month, year, okay? So I can see how many views did I have last year. I can tell you it was something like, I think it was about 36,000, okay? So that's, but don't quote me, I could be a little bit wrong there too. Feedback you receive. So this would be the comments that are there, okay? And the comments could be on the site itself, or it could be, through Facebook or other social media. Your international reach, okay? With my blog, I would say I get a response of about 2 to 1, maybe 3 to 1. 2 to 3 to 1 are American readers, okay? Versus Canadian readers. And then my next category, British, Estonian, in my top 10. Last year, if I remember right, in number 9 position was Saudi Arabia. Think about that for a moment, okay? Okay. My number 9 position was Saudi Arabia. So now I'm not sure that those were necessarily Muslims, because they often have foreign workers in there who might be Christians working there on construction sites or who knows what, okay? But you know what, it's good to feed those people too. And you never can tell if some Muslim person is reading it or not. I know in some cases they are, okay? Sense of community you achieve. That's an important, for me, is an important element of it. Am I feeling part of, sense of community is important to me, okay? And I think it was especially important in, when the pandemic is on, when you're isolated. Well, here you've got a way to communicate with other people, okay? And they're communicating back to you, and you're getting a little bit of feedback from that. And yeah, it's not face-to-face. I much prefer face-to-face, okay? But hey, there's nothing wrong with, second best is still second best. It's not 15th on the list. Sales income recommendations. Yeah, so sometimes people will, okay, they'll go and buy the book. Okay, I have a little tag on every post I do. Here's a link to my where you could buy this book, okay, from Amazon. Okay, so and I apparently there's some sales happen. I did get a royalty check the other day. So that is also and again, that's part of your platform thing. Okay. Let me go back on that and just mention that I don't think that should be your primary reason, okay? I think your primary reason for having a blog should be to help someone or influence them, okay? And hopefully as a Christian writer, you're wanting to influence them in ways that are can use the word godly or orient them toward Jesus in some way. If other good things happen, great. Mistakes to avoid, you don't post enough. At a minimum, you should post once a week, but never more than often than daily, okay? If you get someone who's posting 5 or 6 things in a day, it's kind of like, I don't want to, I've seen you once, I don't need to see you 3 more times, okay? Your post is too long, establish a length limit over 500 words, too long for most readers. Go ahead. Headings, photos, and short paragraphs keep readers engaged. We already touched on that. You don't invite engagement. You use question effectively. Avoid a preachy or know-it-all style. Okay, so I think that turns some people off. Okay. You know, I'm talking an awful lot. So if at any point you want to say, hey, I'd like to get a word in edgewise here, feel free to ask or speak up, okay? You don't participate in conversation. It is rude not to respond to comments even if they are disagreeable. Engage with your readers. Whenever I have a post where I have the word atheist in it, or atheism, I will get a response, okay? And most of them are really nasty. And sometimes, by the way, this is something you should know. You have the option of, if there's a new post, like a new responder, okay? At least this is the case on WordPress, okay? If there is someone who's never responded to your posts in the past, and all of a sudden they respond with a comment, okay? You have the right to say, I don't want that comment, okay? It can't be displayed. If it's rude or if it's, okay? But the other point, but usually if you say yes to them, okay, usually they can respond again, okay, and so on. Now, there's some controls that you have over these things, and if you check the right box at the right time, I would encourage you not to let everything go in, okay? But I would also say, you don't want to shut everybody out if they have a slight criticism or maybe it's questioning versus, yeah.
Sometimes you'll get comments from people who will say that this is a really interesting blog, and then they'll put a link.
Yes.
And that's a link to their website,
Yes.
or a link to something that they want to sell.
That's right. So those are the ones you want to say don't approve, okay? Because they're trying to go somewhere else, okay? They want you to go somewhere else. I want other readers to go somewhere else. Yeah.
So I'm really new to this.
Yeah.
When you talk about checking all the right boxes, does that mean that there is a site you go to set your blog up?
Yes. Yes, there is a site, yeah, to go to set it all up, okay? And in that, you can decide.
What is the site?
Yeah, there's several, but the one I would recommend, I use WordPress.com, okay? That's the one and that's probably the most popular one.
It's not the easiest.
What's
quite well, okay, so it's really robust. WordPress is super robust, and but it's quite complicated. So if you're at all tech challenged, I use a website called Wix, and they've got a blogging.
Wix does that?
They've got a blogging option. I
What was
noticed
the name again, love?
Wix,
Yeah.
wix.com. I know, Diana, you have Weebly, and they'll have a blog option built into the platform.
Yeah.
I think it's actually WordPress.com is very easy to use, but WordPress.org is very different. They're two
true.
totally different animals.
Oh, thank you for
So
clarifying that.
WordPress.com is super easy. It's set up. It's kind of like you just walk through and hit next.
Thank you for clarifying
Yeah.
that.
So,
That's
but
true.
it has limitations. You don't own it,
Mhm.
and you won't be able to sell on it. WordPress uses it, so you can
Right.
link to your, do you link to your website then? Is
Yeah, it
that
has
what
a
you
link
said?
to my website,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's where people buy if they want, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you were on WordPress.org,
Yeah,
you would be able to have your own.
right, right.
Yeah.
If you're an author, one site that I keep hearing about over and over and over again is PubSite, and they design websites specifically for authors.
Mhm.
And they've got all kinds of features built in, so if you don't have a blog or a website already, I would just say go to PubSite and start there. But if you already are somewhere, just explore what is already built in, like, don't reinvent your wheel, but.
Once you, like anything, once you're got the system established, I know with WordPress, I mean, it's very, for me, it's very simple. It was tough, a little bit. There's always a learning curve on these things, okay? And you may need, you know, a friend who's a little more techy, you know, to come alongside you and coach you through each of these steps, okay? But hopefully you can find someone who can help a little bit, okay? I know I did. I needed one other person, just, okay, should I be checking this or that, you know, and yeah, but it's certainly doable. Google used to have something, there used to be.
Blogger still exists.
Blogger still exists,
I
yeah.
think it's a Google property now.
Yeah,
Blogspot is the website where you go to set up your blogger.
Used to be, I guess still maybe.
Yeah, they do still exist.
yeah, let's go on. You don't have a hook that attracts the reader's interest, provocative thoughts, and intriguing titles draw readers. That's true, okay? Your opening paragraph is weak. More than ever, you need to grab the reader's attention. Your posts are all over the map. Establish a tight focus and stick to it. Don't stray into off-topic areas. Yeah, so if you're, you know, on that, that's where the theme thing can help, okay? So this, now, if I want to go onto an off-topic, you know, maybe you can set up another blog, okay, where you focus simply on that topic, okay? So this on here I'm gonna post about family life, or, you know, but this one is about whatever, okay? Yeah.
On my blog, David, what I did was I set up 3 separate subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So one is, it's all to do with writing. One is just me talking about writing or the writing journey. Another section is authors, Christian authors that I want to promote.
Yeah.
So I've got that section. And then the other section is actually, which sounds really different, it's an orphanage in Uganda because I use the writing to support the orphanage.
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, but they're all on one blog, really.
Okay,
So it's a
okay.
bit of a mix.
Yeah, and I think you can distinguish that, then readers can, oh, she writes about this, and sometimes there's posts about this. and-
Right.
Yeah. So, but that's, again, establishing kind of your brand in one sense, okay?
Yes.
Because there's a certain thing that people come to expect from you, from when they click on your post. You don't use visuals, a great picture of cartoons, an eyeball magnet. Your posts are too much about yourself. While some personal interest or self-revelation may be good or helpful, your goal should be to help others. Ask yourself, what is the takeaway for my reader, okay? And I think that's, for many of us, I think that's an important thought to consider all the time. Establish a routine process, do what works for you. Here's a suggested procedure. I'm not sure how much this may be getting into some detail, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to follow it, and I might skip out. This is what I do or did, okay? This does not mean you have to do it, okay? By the way, you use a Word document to do your rough draft. You don't have to, okay? But I decided I would, okay? So I ended up with a Word document and then I drop it in to the other, or vice versa.
It also gives you a record
Yes.
of what you've done.
It
Your own
does. So
personal
those-
diary. like
that's
journal.
right, and you can keep that that's separate in one sense and revisit it other times, and you know, well, and in the sense that, okay, well, ultimately I wanted to publish a book, okay, that came to the point where, okay, I want to turn this into a book, okay, well, you've already got the Word document for it then, okay?
And
Yeah.
one thing about a Word document is that it's searchable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you wanna find out all you written about prayer, you just have to search all your documents.
that's
and
right, and it'll pop up, yeah, or whatever topic
Yeah.
there, yeah. Create a number of templates in advance, edit your work, spell check, grammar check, yeah. A lot of those are built into the programs now. But one of the things that I find it distracting. You know, if I have someone who's posting, who, you know, I see their posts and there are consistent grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes, I go like, I find, to me, it's like, maybe, no, I won't follow this one, okay? Though the content might actually be not that bad. So if that turns me off, there are probably others out there that it turns off too, okay? Now, you might be fine with that, but that's me, okay? So just keep it in mind. Yeah, select and insert a photo or photos from personal files or using websites such as, okay, so those are two websites. Now, like I said, with WordPress, it already has that option built right in. Like, you can go and enter it, okay? And you don't even need these at all, okay?
Comment about pictures?
Yes, you need to be careful on them, okay? Because you could get in trouble just, you went to Google and you entered this and, this came up and you're using that photo. Well, do you have permission to use that photo? Okay? So that's why I prefer either my own stuff, okay? Or I prefer something that the website gives me, like WordPress gives me and says, okay, you can use this. That's why it's there, okay?
And I think it's important to mention that it's because photos are intellectual property.
Yep.
Just like your writing is your intellectual property, the photos are the intellectual property of the photographer, and they get to say how it's used. And lots of people are giving away their photography, but they won't be giving away all of it. So just know the rights and restrictions.
So on the photos that I use, which are 90% of the time it's my photos, but sometimes, and it'll give a credit to Pixabay or whatever, okay? I always put my name at the bottom, okay? Not on the photo itself, but I always say under the photo, there's a place to enter it, I just say, photo by David Kitz. And I might say a word or two about the photo, not always, okay? Because sometimes it's nice to have a word, or even tell where it is, or whatever, okay? And that is, again, a little bit of a caution to, someone wants to use your photo? Okay, well, they should say, that was a photo I got from David Kitz, okay? And by the way, if someone wanted to do that, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with them if they credit me, like say, David Kitz, okay? Photo by David Kitz, okay? That's what I put.
And personal photos are so lovely. Like when I read someone's newsletter and it's something personal in there, it makes me want to read more.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I'm reading that person's newsletter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I look for is a humor, something funny. If you can always ask your friends, hey, can you send me a funny joke for my newsletter or something funny around the theme of what I do?
Yeah.
I need to laugh more.
Yeah. I've one of the ladies I follow, I think she's turning 80 or 81. I think she's 81. Okay, lives in Minnesota. Okay, and she has a daily post, a very nice Christian post, Lutheran background. Always has some good Christian message in it. We'll weave in personal stories, little tidbits about this, a little bit of humor, but every day she's got something, okay? And guess what? She reruns some of her posts too, okay? But there's something there for the reader every time. It'll always point to Jesus in some way.
David, many people don't realize that God himself has a great sense of humor, that all humor comes from God. They don't expect that Christians will have a sense of humor or fun.
Yeah, we need to cultivate that sense of humor. After all, he made me, like he knows something. He had a good laugh. Add tags and categories. Oh, yes. Okay. When I use the word tags, there are certain words that attract eyeballs, okay? And so you're posting on the World Wide Web. So if someone does a search for Psalms, for example, okay? Well, because my blog is all about Psalms, well, it might come up there. If I tag the word Psalms, if I tag the word Jesus, if I tag the name Jesus, if I tag trouble or troubled times or different things, it will draw eyeballs who enter that into their Google search or their search engine, and all of a sudden they'll land on your post, okay? Completely random, okay? That's why you put the tags in, okay? The tags are important. So tags will, so every time I do a post, there are certain words that are keywords in that text that I've just created, okay? And I want to emphasize those key words, okay? So if you are, if you want keywords that would relate to that text, okay? To draw those eyeballs, the search ones. Because there are people that land on my site because they're my regular people, but there are people that land on my site because they Googled, I don't know, troubled times, okay? And up came a post on, about David being stuck in the miry clay, okay? And they might just read that. Who knows, they might read that, and it can go somewhere. 5 minutes, okay. And we've got 5 minutes, which means that I know I'm very close to the end here. Slide 18, select this excerpt or catchy sentence. Okay, yes. Yeah, it also says on this little excerpt that can enter in. Now, WordPress used to, that catchy sentence or phrase, they used to put that on Twitter all the time. So, because it was linked to Twitter, okay? As of May 1st, I got this email saying they tried to negotiate with Twitter to get this on, and it hasn't. So, they've not been able to make a deal with Elon Musk, okay? So I'm not connected to Twitter through my site anymore. I used to be all the time, okay? Simultaneous, yeah, Google Plus doesn't exist anymore. But Facebook, I always do a Facebook post. LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn, and it links automatically, okay? Boom, boom, my posts go on. I don't have to do anything. I just hit post, and it'll happen. The other thing you should know really quickly is that you can write your posts in advance. So it's like all my stuff for the next week or two is already posted, and I just choose the date and the time and say this is going here and this is going here, because I'm going to be busy like crazy this week, and I don't have time to do all this posting. Okay, so I posted it before I left. I put it all up, and it'll automatically appear on Saturday morning at 5:30 a.m. or whenever. Okay. By the way, the timing of your posts is important. Morning, especially on devotionals, I know that's prime time, okay? So you want to have your devotional post out, at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, okay? Something early. And you can set the time. You don't have to be up there, okay? and write it all out before 6 o'clock. You post that thing, you know, days before, okay, and just say it's gonna be, I want to see it at 6 o'clock, okay? Decide if you will post immediately or schedule a post for later time. Yeah, just covered that. Blog posting follow-up, yeah. What is that? Write an e-catch email message to personal contacts that who may be interested in your post. Yeah, you could do that, okay? So if you got some personal friends, you want to say, hey, I'm doing this post, here's my link to it, okay? Monitor, follow up, and check metrics, yes. Read and comment on posts by other bloggers, yes, do all that stuff. That's the end of my presentation, okay?